Folks, welcome to yet another episode from the TGV Global Speaker Series. And our guest for today is Valentina Lorenzon. She's from Italy but lives in London. Valentina is an international strategy consultant with 15 years of experience and specializes in advising family businesses and SMEs across Europe. As a third generation family business member, she brings unique insights into intercultural and intergenerational leadership, particularly in internationalization processes and next generation engagement. Valentina also serves as a business coach, assisting individuals in starting ventures, building international careers, and also navigating career changes. Living and working in various European countries, she emphasizes intercultural awareness for global business success and also advocates for excellence in entrepreneurship, especially within the family business sector. Valentina is a passionate lifelong learner, dedicating her free time to pursuits like language acquisition, and she's aiming to become fluent in 10 languages. I think that's a massive target. And as we prepare to delve into our conversation on the topic at hand, continuous learning for personal empowerment and continued success. Here's an exciting twist. Let us tickle her brains first. So, Valentina, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you're ready, let's dive in. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes, ready. Go for it, Naveen.
Curiosity.
Learning.
Invention.
It's about creativity.
Future.
Opportunities.
Book.
Well, I'm obsessed with Marcel Proust, so In Search of Lost Time.
Movie.
Salty popcorns.
Food.
Family, spending time over a meal with the people I love.
Place.
Venice.
Name.
It's our identity.
Animal.
Butterfly, because it represents freedom and transformation.
And also beauty.
Yes, in the world there is so much of it. So we just need to look around and see it.
And the last one is world.
So yeah, beauty, I would say, because again, we are surrounded by it. So we just need to pay attention.
Absolutely concur with you. And thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round so sportively and most importantly, so crisply. So really appreciate it. And let's wait for the second rapid fire round towards the end of the episode. And folks, welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable discussions that add value not only to your life but also to your career. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Valentina Lorenzon, hearty welcome to TGV, the Guiding Voice, and I'm excited to engage in this conversation and super thrilled to get started. How are you doing today?
All good. Thank you very much for inviting me. And it's a pleasure to speak to you, Naveen, and to your audience as well.
Absolute pleasure is mine. And before we get into our conversation, I would like to thank my mentee, Stephen Robin, for connecting us and making this happen. So kudos to you, Stephen. Keep recommending wonderful guests like Valentina and keep adding value to the community. And thank you so much. And Valentina, let's get the ball rolling. We'll begin with the success mantra. So please share with our audience the top 3 things that I've attributed to your success so far.
I think I just love what I do. So my passion for it, a lot of hard work and the determination to get to my goals.
Superb. Now let's talk about core of today's conversation. So given the rapidly changing business environment and the need for professionals to adapt, why do you believe continuous learning is particularly crucial in today's world? And how does it empower individuals in their careers? What's your take?
So I think based on what you said, as leaders and professionals, we are facing so many complex challenges and uncertainty that we never had to face before. So that means that really continuous learning is much more of a necessity than it is a choice now. Because it is a great way to acquire those skills and to improve ourselves in a way that we can control at least how we respond and we adapt to change. And obviously, we will always find ourselves in uncertainty, but as long as we have the tools to face it, then we will be able to make the most of it and make the right decisions and face risk in the right way. So I think what learning does as a strategic approach, it gives you the confidence to build a sustainable career and the right skill set profile.
Amazing. Valentina, now let's move forward and talk about this self-limiting beliefs which influence our actions and decisions. So can you elaborate on how recognizing and overcoming these beliefs can impact an individual's ability to embrace continuous learning and also career growth?
So if we just to simplify a little bit, but to know what self-limiting beliefs are, they are basically ideas about ourselves that we hold in our minds. And usually they are deeply ingrained in the way we make decisions or we face risks or we grow as a professional. And it might come from as far back as our childhood or a previous working experience or the way we were brought up. And what they do, they really affect our confidence and again, the way we might make decisions. And there are things like, I'm not good enough, this is not the right time to do something, or I will fail if I take that step. And so obviously, they are something that really impact us. But if we really think about them, in the most cases, they are just what the word says, beliefs, and they're not rooted in facts. So it is quite important for us to develop that reflection and that self-awareness of our abilities, of what we can actually achieve. And in those cases where things might not have gone well, what could we have improved and what can we improve now? And continuous learning becomes part of that conversation because it gives us the knowledge and the confidence to know that we can do more than what probably we have done, and we can grow in the future for success, our careers, and in our more generally.
Amazing. And Valentina, you mentioned the importance of making deliberate choices in acquiring knowledge and experience to unlock real potential. So, how can individuals make intentional decisions in their learning journeys to enhance their skills, thereby building confidence?
So I think the process needs to be intentional because it might not come naturally to us. And the point is, one, we are overwhelmed by opportunities in the sense that there are a lot of sources of knowledge, there are a lot of platforms and tools that we can use. And at the same time, our knowledge, the one we have already built, might be not sufficient anymore for the problems we are facing and for the decisions we need to make. So all of that can be very overwhelming. And what we need to find is clarity and intentionality about what we need, our objectives are, what our capabilities are at the moment, what are the gaps perhaps of things that we might need to learn and acquire to fill those gaps and to achieve those goals, and really reflect and again be self-aware of all of those elements together with simply and practically saying how much time and resources you have to invest, and then really cross that with the opportunities that we have available. So the intentionality is really devising your own strategy, and one, clarity, and two, finding the right opportunities really.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And also, I think there is a risk associated with halting the learning process, right? So could you elaborate on these risks and share how a continuous learning approach mitigates them, ensuring sustainability in career?
Yes, that's a very good point and a very good question because I think we speak a lot about the opportunities and advantages of learning, but I think it's also important to emphasize what we risk by not doing it. And I think there are some general elements which probably are quite obvious, which are that, as I was mentioning earlier, our knowledge might not be sufficient anymore, and it becomes obsolete very quickly because of all, these tools and resources and AI, for example, at the moment. So we really need to stay relevant and up to date to keep that competitive advantage that we might have with this knowledge. So not learning sort of keeps us behind a little bit from other people who might be doing that learning. And then a lot of research and a lot of experts also identified mindset-related aspects that can affect negatively our career and sort of growth. And I'll mention a couple just to give you an idea of what that means. They, for example, mentioned silo mentality and not keeping learning is what can sort of provoke that. And that's the idea of really having a narrow focus and concentrating only on one idea or one solution, just because it's maybe familiar to us or because that's what we know, and not look what is around and available and might be more suitable. So that gives you a very fragmented view of the whole picture, really. And connected to that, there is what is called competency trap, which is another bias that we might develop when we sort of make decisions, for example, on false assumptions. And we might say, for example, this is something that I do well, it helped me in the past, it brought me to success, so it's bound to work this time as well. And that might not be true, simply because now we have new problems, new complexities to deal with. So old solutions might not be enough anymore. And so by learning, you sort of open up and widen your horizon to new options as well. And then maybe one final point, which I think it's quite important, is what is called intellectual myopia, which is the idea that, again, we have a very narrow perspective, and so we don't see the big picture. And if we don't have enough knowledge about different aspects and the multiplicity of them, we sort of might miss out on the layers and the interconnections and overlaps that happen between different areas of expertise or different aspects. So I think that all of this really ask for an intentional, blended approach of learning so that we can face those challenges.
Amazing. And I'm loving this conversation. I think this is truly insightful, Valentina. Now let's move forward with the strategic and blended approach to learning is what you are emphasizing. And could you explain what a blended approach entails and how it optimizes personal development, especially when incorporating both formal as well as informal learning?
So I think this concept comes from two main things. And one is external, because it has to do again with the fact that now more than ever, we have this opportunity of creating a blended approach. Because as we were discussing before, we have a lot of different sources of information, of platforms and tools. And so we can really pick and choose what works for us and what is relevant to us and might align with our preferences. Obviously, we are different types of learners. Some people are more visual, some people are more based, they are learning on the spoken word, for example. And now we have all of these options and multiple of them. So first of all, we have an opportunity to really tailor the learning experience to ourselves and what we need. And the second element is what we again mentioned already before, which we need to learn a wider range of skill sets. And we need those because we need to align with the new complexities around us. And we also need more of those soft skills, which are things like collaboration and storytelling, those words that we hear so much as buzzwords at the moment. Things like intercultural communication. And you would know because, for example, you interview all these people from a global audience. And those are really key skills that we can't necessarily learn only from a theoretical, formal approach. We need a blended element that brings in informal opportunities as well as, for example, experiential learning. Because only different contexts and situations actually can give us the knowledge we need to act in those, when those dynamics are at play, really. And so I would really encourage everyone, and the strategic element is that, to look outside what is formal and traditional, which is still useful, but needs to be complemented by something that is more informal and more adapted to our own preferences. And I, for example, usually mention hobbies as one way of doing that, with, with a fun element to it as well.
Mhm. So fun element is kind of building some personal hobbies and learning through hobbies, right? So shifting perspectives to see hobbies as learning opportunities is a very interesting concept. And can you share some examples of how individuals can effectively utilize their hobbies to enhance their skills and knowledge for a professional growth?
Yeah, so I think we usually associate hobbies with personal well-being and acquiring skills like confidence and for example communication at times, obviously depending on the hobby, and I think they help build self-esteem and how to build new relationship and new ways of communicating. Then there is, before I really go into like examples, I would like to mention, I think, another benefit that it's not always highlighted, which is about the beginner's mindset. And that means that when we start learning something, especially in the early phases, it might be frustrating maybe, but it's the best time to develop that openness and curiosity towards something we don't know. And be something that puts ourselves completely outside our comfort zone. And I give you an example. For example, when I started learning Russian, it was the first time I was learning something with a completely different alphabet from any other language I had learned before. And I can tell you that was very frustrating, but the best learning experience I had, because it put me in a place where I had to question my previous method of doing it. So it was invaluable, apart from the language skills, invaluable what I learned from the process. And so again, I think these are all benefits that we can take from hobbies and transfer into work. And to give you a couple of other examples, I mentioned language learning. So language learning, it's great for, as we said before, for example, confidence, but also speaking in public and being able to deal with conversations that might not be in the context or even in the language or with people you know. So there are so many benefits that we can take from that. And then there are things like doing puzzles or playing chess, which really trigger our analytical and logical thinking, and skills like focus and attention to detail that are so key in any working environment, really. So I think hobbies can become a very good, entertaining way of also practicing some of the skills that we need at work as well.
Amazing. I love the perspective and all the insights. And this has been an incredible conversation so far. And it's time for us to add some excitement and some spice to the episode. So with your consent, I'm going to kick off the second rapid fire round with a set of intriguing questions. Are you ready to get the ball rolling?
Sure.
Okay, here comes the first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Well, I think based on what I've just said, I would like it to be a motivational message for people to never stop learning and really keep improving themselves.
Superb. And what is one thing you are really bad at that you wish you were good or better at?
I think sketching and drawing. I would just love to sit down somewhere nice and be able to capture that image. But unfortunately, it's not happening for me.
Wish you good luck. I think by the time next time when you get featured, I think you'll be good at that. And that's my wish for you.
Hopefully.
And can you describe yourself in just one word?
I think multifaceted.
You are indeed. So learning 10 languages and you are continuously on the roll to learn new things. I can't agree more. And here comes my next one.
To keep
it
interesting, no? We don't want to get bored in the way.
Yeah, that's the common thing between you and me. And Valentina, what is your favorite thing about living in the current times, the 21st century?
I think it's just so full of opportunities to see the world, to connect with people that we wouldn't connect otherwise, and to experience things that we could have never experienced before.
Yeah, agreed. And if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I think connected to what I just said before, teleportation in time and space. And I think I'm very curious of knowing bad and good how life was in other times, like the 1920s, for example, and in space, because the more you want to see, the less you want to spend time maybe checking in at the airport. So teleportation would work out well, no?
No security hassles, nothing as such, just directly switch the button, appear somewhere else, right? Yeah. Okay, here comes my last bullet out of rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
I think I'm going to be a bit controversial and say that we don't need any more electronic gadgets in our lives. Maybe invent something that sort of replace all the others, so we are only left with one.
Oh, so all-in-one device, and which is multifaceted, which has multifunctional.
You can see the pattern, right?
Good one. I love the idea. And let's flip back to the mainstream after that great rapid fire round. So, as we conclude our conversation, what key message or piece of advice would you like to leave our audience with regarding the importance of continuous learning and proactive career strategizing in today's dynamic professional landscape?
I think just to say to people that you are capable of much more than you think, and keep investing in yourself is the way to bring that out and really unlock your potential. And that knowledge and skills are something that you can take with you everywhere we go, and they can really be helpful in succeeding. So really, keep learning that it's going to bring success in your life.
And they can't be stolen from you. Great. I enjoyed the conversation thoroughly. And how is your experience being hosted on The Guiding Voice?
It was really good and fun as well. And thank you very much for giving me an option to really speak about something I'm very passionate about. So thank you, Naveen.
Pleasure to have you. And thank you, Stephen Robin, once again for suggesting Valentina Lorenzon as our guest for today. And Valentina, thank you so much once again for joining me today and engaging in this beautiful conversation with tons of insights. Thank you for your time and everything.
Thank you. And thank you, Stephen, on my part as well. And good luck to everyone for their learning.
All right. So it was such a pleasure hosting Valentina and friends. That was our episode with Valentina Lorenzon. Before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. In case if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Guiding Voice podcast from wherever you have tuned in, because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes. And also, if you have enjoyed this conversation and found it useful, please share it with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who would also like TGV, the Guiding Voice. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. And your support means a lot. It helps us create more content for you and our growing community. Let us learn together on this journey. And folks, now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment. After having amazing conversation on the importance of continuous learning for personal empowerment and continued success, here's a trivia about learning. First one is about spaced repetition. So, spaced repetition is a scientifically proven learning technique where information is reviewed at increasing intervals over time. This method enhances long term retention and understanding of the material, making it a highly effective learning strategy. Second one is Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. The Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, discovered by psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus, illustrates how we tend to forget newly learned information over time if there is no effort to retain it. So, about 50% of new information is forgotten within the first hour without reinforcement. That's why it is recommended to practice taking some tests soon after you learn new stuff. And third one is about neuroplasticity. It is the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize and adapt by the by forming new neural connections, and it highlights the brain's capacity to learn and change throughout the life, reinforcing the idea that continuous learning and experiences shape our brain's structure and functioning. So, as per scientific methodology, also, it is important for us to continuously learn in order to succeed. And that's it from my side, from the trivia perspective. And in case if you have any interesting facts related to learning, keep them coming. You can comment them on YouTube in the form of comments. If you're watching the video or if you have found the episode on some social media platforms, you can comment there. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome community. Folks, we would love to hear from you. So do not hesitate to share your ideas and feedback either through our social media channels or email. Our email address is theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com, and also you can share the guest speaker suggestions and topic recommendations as well. Let's create content that resonates with you. I'm your host Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner, and my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also your career. So stay connected as we journey together, and until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember the future holds great things because the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest.